Thanks for your time once again. Time for Fashion Watch, our final show this year, so super excited. It's been an amazing year. Some of you have had major fashion fails. Some of you have been a favorite of the Fashion Watch panel. Let's get to hear their thoughts tonight on the best dressed and worst dressed of 2015. But before we get into that conversation, we've got a lot of content for you this evening, a lot happening here in Nairobi as well as in Uganda. Our Fashion Watch panel this evening, Ian Mbogwa, celebrity judge on Tasker Project fame and also a thespian. He's our resident judge on Fashion Watch. Also with us, award-winning fashion journalist Carol Odero. She will be looking at this week's trends and, of course, passing that judgment on who was the worst dressed and best dressed 2015. Also with us is Robert Burale. He's a motivational speaker and an image consultant, and he's looking at this week's fashion trends. And, of course, with us as well every Saturday here on Fashion Watch, the lovely Annabelle Onyango, celebrity fashion stylist, looking at the week's fashion trends. Okay, let's begin and see what was happening. Okay, yeah. Okay, so here we go. So this is Style by Nairobi. This is an event that was held earlier in the week, and there Olive Gashara and two gentlemen with her there. I want to begin with Olive's gown. Annabelle, what do you think about what Olive chose to wear that day?
Cute, cute, simple. Olive is a fashion girl. She's the editor of Couture magazine. So, she really knows what is required at these events because she goes to them all the time.
Yeah.
And I love the simplicity of this look. I love the way it's demure, but at the same time, a little sexy with the slit and the halter top, simply accessorized with some crystal type earrings. I mean, she's less is more, again, beautiful.
Okay. So I doubt any of you will fault what Olive has on. Let's talk about the gentleman. I'll start with you, Carol. Particularly with the vest and just that look there, the guy with the black.
I really wanted to cut the gentleman because they just disappointing. I'm not sure why the waistcoat fits the way it does. It seems it's a size too small for one thing, and the other gentleman is wearing, I think we've seen him a few times before on Fashion Watch. He seems to like blue, and the pants and the trouser, different fabric. The color looks the same if you look at it at a glance, but it doesn't blend well because the fabrics are different, the textures are different, so they don't look good together. I like the blazer, but the fit is a little too small. And just to add to what Olive is wearing, because really I love it, this is made by Kuru, and I love how they make outfits that can fit any body type and any kind of woman. Yeah.
Okay, Ian, let's talk about the gentleman. And for you, which look, passes?
Nothing, none of them. Absolutely not. And is that something on his wrist, or is that the tag of the suit?
No, I think it's a watch.
Oh, it's a watch. Yes. Okay, but gosh, no, it looks terrible. Looks like it's too small, and the shoes are the wrong size. The guy in blue, the guy in black, the waistcoat, too small.
That flower is a little high.
Too small. Everything is. That's because it's small.
Okay, so Robert, for you who does a lot of slim fit, is this taking the slim fit, look a little bit too far? Is
the guy in the blue?
A small suit? I mean, for both of them, I suppose.
The guy in a half coat needs to return the half coat to his small brother. You simply cannot come out in public and wear such a coat. It is not fitting, it is not stylish, it is actually embarrassing his style. No, lack of style actually is what is being amplified. You can see very well that the half coat is struggling to fit into the place. The guy in the blue suit, I don't think it's too bad, but the coat is a little bit small. Definitely he is holding a phone and is trying desperately to hide that phone on his hand. And when you are taking a photo with a pretty lady, you do not pose like you're about to go for a boxing match. You need to be easy. So that's non-verbal communication. The guy in a blue suit is okay. I give him a thumbs up. But the guy in a half coat is so bad that if there's any mistake with the guy in a blue suit, it's overshadowed by
are we saying then that slim fit is for slim guys? Because these aren't slim guys.
Absolutely.
Slim.
I mean,
the word slim.
Okay.
You can't have somebody fat putting on something slim.
But unfortunately, Ian, there are some people who
try
are big and they try to to pull off the slim fit.
True.
You don't do that. It will just look small and a bit annoying.
Like skinny jeans, therefore.
So if
Yes.
you're slim, please wear a slim fit suit. If you're of the bigger size, avoid striped suits.
Okay. All right. What are your thoughts? Hashtag is Fashion Watch. This is Lupita Nyong'o, and this was the Star Wars Force Awakens red carpet. I want to get your thoughts. I thought this image looked better, I mean, when I saw it on social media, but then, okay, here it looks a bit busy. So let's start with you, Carol. This gown, of course, this is one of the looks that we have this evening. What do you think about this gown?
Well, I love this look. It's done by a designer called Alexander Gauthier. He's French. He's actually a certified haute couture designer. And I think part of what's missing in the Kenyan red carpets is we have made-to-measure outfits, yes, but there is no art in it. And when you look at red carpets or the looks that sometimes celebrities wear, there is an elevation to the look that is designed not just for the celebrity, but it is designed to have a certain visual that portrays something significant. His looks tend to be very sexy, you know, the cutouts, high slits, very fitted silhouette. And this one, I like it because it's very three-dimensional, multi-dimensional, and it's perfect for Star Wars because from every angle you look at it, it's very different. It's almost like it shifts every time you turn to take a look.
Annabelle, then again, there's some people on social media that didn't quite like this look. I don't know. What do you think? For you, is it just a perfect look, as always, as Lupita? We know her to never get it wrong. Do you like this look?
You know what? I think it's a pretty dress, but there's something about this look that I just don't love. There's something about it that feels a little bit sort of trying too hard. You know, a starlet that Lupita is, I feel like she doesn't need to do this much. I feel like we know Lupita for doing these very simple looks that have made her super iconic. And I feel like when she tries too hard, it kind of looks like she's tried too hard. And then the hair, I mean, this is Gaultier, so I mean, this is haute couture. This is like the most expensive fashion you can buy. But maybe the most expensive fashion isn't always the best choice. I would also say that her hair, I miss the Lupita with the short hair. I know that she did it for a long time and she became famous for it, but it really suited her more, I feel, than this sort of overworked updo, this awkward sort of black girl growing her hair kind of vibe. I wish she would go back to the short do.
I feel like this is more of Kenyans reacting to the Lupita they used to know and not welcoming the risk taker, because people do evolve, especially on the red carpet. You have to change, you have to look interesting every time people see you. You can't remain in the same mold.
And considering this is Star Wars,
yes,
I think she's dressed really well for the Star Wars theme. Yes.
Robert, I saw you nodding your head in agreement with what Annabelle was saying.
Total fail. Absolutely fail.
Why?
Why? Because it's too shiny.
But that is Star Wars.
Let me say what I'm saying. Her color tone is not right for that dress because it looks like a bulb that is walking. She has pulled off better. We've seen her much better than this.
Definitely,
I think she's trying too hard. This is an absolute fail. It would look much better on a lighter skinned person.
Okay. All right. Let's move on. What do you think, by the way? Use the hashtag fashion. So this is another look, by the way. Use the hashtag fashion watch.
You probably like this one better, right?
Yeah, I know, right? So this is Lupita once again in London, and here she went with a sheer skirt, metallic sandals, and then she has this bright blue lip color. Again, this the Star Wars Force Awakens red carpet, and this in London. Again, let's go back to you, Annabelle, and this look. This people liked. I saw a lot of people talking about this on social media. I don't know what you think about this look. Is it a fail again? As Robert said, what do you think?
I mean, another high-end designer, the most expensive money can buy. This is Proenza Schuler, very important European designer. However, this look, again, I don't know. It just feels like it's trying too hard. It feels like her stylist, who's Michaela Erlanger, who's come to this country before and met a whole bunch of the Kenyan fashion community and taught us and, like, mentored people. I just feel like this is taking it a couple of steps too far, and I feel like it needs to be reined back. There's too many elements happening. There's the mesh skirt, there's the peplum, there's the fringe at the bottom, there's the mesh sort of hat. There's the blue lipstick. There's the chandelier earrings.
You seem to be forgetting that this is Star Wars.
Doesn't matter. You still need to look beautiful. And I feel like here she's a character in Star Wars as opposed to being the Lupita the starlet that we love. I think it's too much.
Yeah, and again, Ian, just going back to the fact that yes, she's played a role on Star Wars, but this is the red carpet. And like Annabelle is saying, her replicating that Star Wars look to the red carpet, how do you reconcile the fact that this is a fashion icon bringing her role, like we didn't see her dressed as Patsy on the red carpet.
No. That would have been interesting.
I know, right?
That would have been interesting. No, I really do like this. I like this one as well.
Okay.
Considering that it is, if it was a different function, I'd say absolutely not. But for Star Wars, I think it is spot on.
But do you think she looks beautiful? That is the question.
Well, for me, I think it's not even about looking beautiful. We forget that fashion plays a bigger role than making people look pretty. Fashion can make a statement. Pronto Shula actually worked with a group of coders from the university in the US, and they made this wearable technology that ended up on his runway sometime in September, October. So if I'm looking at the perfect synchronicity between technology, science, art, it would be what Lupita is wearing on the red carpet. So if she's looking like a character from Star Wars, this is very befitting from the designer who actually worked around smart technology. So she's making a statement. Everybody's forgetting that you're supposed to always look pretty. No, sometimes fashion says things that are subtle and things that people forget. Okay. Like telling girls you can get into science, you don't have to look like a pretty girl, you can look like a geek, and that's the result.
So I suppose this is a case of Ian and Carol again. Don't leave me hanging.
I'm with you. What I'm saying, Carol says yes, you must make a statement, but everything makes a statement, but you have to be careful to make the right statement.
She's made she's been playing everybody's role for a whole year. Everybody has wanted her to be pretty. She's allowed to be a
No, she's not allowed. The moment you are an icon, remember, everybody is watching.
Actually, when you're an icon, you become an icon because you take risks other people are afraid.
Let's finish with Lupita. Your final thought.
Oh no, my final thought is like, I think she had a disagreement with her stylist for 2 weeks, and she just wasn't advised well. You do not wear what lipstick is that, blue or black, whatever.
Yes.
If I saw a girl walking around town with that lipstick, I would give her some.
You wouldn't see anybody out in that.
Right.
Actually, Annabelle will disagree with that. Blue lipstick, I believe these colors are trending.
They're very trendy. The darker shades, especially for fall and winter, they are trending. But I feel like if you're going to wear such a statement lip, everything else has to be toned down. Even if this is a Star Wars premiere, I feel like there's a sophistication you have to bring to the red carpet, as opposed to looking like a character.
Okay. All right. What are your thoughts? Please use the hashtag FashionWatch. And this is in Uganda. And this is the Abrians or Abrians, I don't know how to pronounce that, Style and Fashion Awards. That's what was going down last weekend. And here we see this gown. Again, Uganda really, really killing it on the red carpet. Do we see this on our red carpet? Annabelle, what do you think about this gown?
Oh my God, I love it. I love it, I love it, I love it. I love the simplicity of it. Again, I can't speak. I always talk about things being simple because simple is what makes the biggest impact. That's the irony of fashion. I love the sort of applique where it counts, sort of hiding her assets. And I love the way it's just a simple silhouette. It's a simple dress and it speaks volumes. This woman looks flawless, whoever she is.
Okay.
She has a body to... Yes, she's well dressed.
Robert?
I agree with Annabelle, simplicity, but still classy. She's showing us some skin, but covering her assets. You know, and this is where I think our Kenyan red carpet people need to understand that you don't have to show too much skin to look good.
And Carol, how are the babies sitting just right? Because clearly that little sheer fabric that she has going on there doesn't allow for a bra. So again, just talk to the girls who would like to probably pull off a look like this about how to wear such a dress.
It is a marvel of nature. But I would say there are actually ways to fake a bra. You just have to know how to play around with tape. and how to, yes, you actually do, and how to position it. It's also something you can collaborate with the designer, because they can actually structure the dress such that they place cups underneath the design and you don't actually get to see it. I love this design. This says everything that people have always thought about Ugandan women and what people have not thought about Kenyan women.
And of course, size does matter.
Clearly. So who else was there? Let's take a look. This is Flavia. She's a news anchor now with NTV in Uganda. Has previously been on Channel O, and of course once emceed on Big Brother Africa. Let's talk about this gown. Carol, your thoughts?
Well, I've seen pictures of it looking much better than it does here. And she won the Best Dressed Celebrity Award, I think, at this event.
Yes.
You know, and she normally, her style is very classically feminine. You know, she does a lot of dresses. It's fitted. It's very sensual and almost seductive in kind of a tame way. You know, she has a bit of a demure thing going on. This picture doesn't really show us much about who she is and how beautiful she is as a woman. So I don't know if it is the dress that she selected because this was a styled outfit, or it's just there's something about it that is not, well, is not worthy of a Best Dressed Personality on a red carpet.
Annabelle, you agree?
I completely agree. There's something about this dress that it's not telling me really anything about her personality, and just in terms of the technicality of the dress, I feel like it's a tad too long.
Too big.
Yeah, it feels a bit too big in the bottom.
Okay, you agree, Robert?
Yes, I do. Nothing, I think, deserving to win the Best Dressed, but her simplicity is good, but not vavavoom. No.
Okay, what do you think? Use the hashtag Fashion Watch. Who else was there? So this is actually a celebrity fashion stylist. I forget his name, but you know, based in Uganda. And yeah, this is the Ugandan guy on the red carpet. So Robert, you guys and your boring tuxedos.
Now this is what dressing is all about.
You would mistake him for a Nigerian, I suppose.
Absolutely, actually thought he was Nigerian. It means that
he might be, but based in Uganda, I think, or
I think he's Nigerian.
He might.
All right, whoever he is, this is what I call bringing your A game, and he's definitely dressed for the occasion. The jacket is very, very well fitting. He's not too busy with the black tones down the white, and the blue speaks like he's a very bold person. Of course, black is safe. Very good shoes. And even standing, the way he's posed, he's ready for anything.
So for the first time, you're not dissing this guy about his sunglasses, his stanners. You're just fine with that.
Oh, no, the guy is on point. And I just wish every Kenyan man can stop going to red carpet with jeans and funny T-shirts.
Okay, Annabelle, fault this look or tell us what you love about it.
So Swanky Jerry is actually Nigerian. He's a Nigerian-based stylist.
That's his name, yes.
And of course, this is an original look. This looks like a stylist. You know, stylists always get it right. And he gets it right here. I love sunglasses on the red carpet. I think it's very sophisticated. I love a steel-capped shoe, which is what he's wearing. The only thing I will say is you have to be very careful when you wear a sheen on the red carpet, when you wear sort of a satiny fabric, because it tends to photograph a little bit cheap. I prefer a matte finish because it looks more sophisticated, but otherwise he's a very handsome man.
Carol?
Oh, I love this look from head to toe. I think it looks great. And what he's actually wearing, because he's a stylist, but he's also a designer, this is actually part of his collection. What is more interesting about the look is the beard. You know, the beards are actually quite a big deal right now. There are all these products for grooming it, and it's such a huge deal. I mean, there are bloggers and Instagrammers who do nothing but, you know, celebrate the man and his beard. And I think he's made it look great, and the blue actually suits his skin tone. He's definitely a win.
Yeah, and Ian?
Very nice. This is the designer who's showing, look at me, and I can make you look just as good.
Yeah, this good.
Selling himself.
Okay, very nice look there. Hashtag is Fashion Watch. Miss Kenya here.
Tourism.
Tourism, Miss Tourism Kenya. So who designed this gown, do we know? And if not, yellow, this bold color. Let's start with you, Annabelle, your thoughts. What do you think?
Yeah, it's very yellow. Canary yellow. I'm not a huge fan of yellow. But I do like the fact, I mean, this is a pageant girl, and for these sort of pageants, you have to wear these kind of timeless silhouettes. So the dress is simple, which is appropriate, but I think of note is the fact that the trim is an African print. And there was a picture earlier where she was with some other girls, I guess there you go. And I like the fact that she has really sort of is grounded herself in Africa by wearing that African print trim. And, you know, it's a lot less cheesy than the Swarovski crystals that we usually see at these pageants.
Yeah, and by the way, away from Miss Tourism, catch the Miss World Finals right here on Citizen TV. That's tonight, right after this show, I believe, shortly after the show. Robert, you MC these events. Why is Kenya not doing as well? By the way, Miss Tanzania is in the final 10. Yes, in the Miss World Finals. She is actually in the finals.
Magufuli let her go.
So why is it that Kenya is not doing as well on the global front? Is it our designers? What is happening to our pageants? What is happening with our models?
The problem with Kenyans years gone by is that we concentrate more on beauty. Beauty is important, but remember, when they go out there, their IQ is tested, how they present themselves, how they speak, how they answer questions. So someone needs to take them on a boot camp and teach them how to stand, how to say what when you answer.
I believe they're taken to boot camp.
Then obviously it needs to be a bit harder than that.
done by the same people year in, year out.
Just take them to a professional. Tell them, if you're asked a question, this is how you need to pose in a way to tell the person I'm receiving what you're saying, because all those things count for something, and then it adds up to the final tally, and that's why some of us are not making.
Carol, your thoughts on what she has on?
Well, I agree with both Robert and Annabelle. Her outfit looks great because of the African trimming, but she looks very generic. It's the kind of generic look that you see a lot of women will try if it's a red carpet event. There isn't anything distinct about her or something about her personality that jumps out. You know, I feel like it needs a little more refinement for some reason. I'm not really sure what is missing, but it's just, it's all right.
It's just there. Yeah. Okay. Ian, you wanted to say something?
Marion has been they've been going through a lot of stuff in this pageant and dressing up different each time. And she's worn the Masai regalia and different designs. And some of them are made by her aunt. Yes. So I think she's doing really well. Okay, and we wish her all the best. Yes, we do. Okay, so who else is there? Or rather, who else do we have? Okay, so these are the MCs of the event where we saw Swanky Chariot. That's his name, Annabelle?
Swanky Jerry.
Swanky Jerry. Is that Museveni?
No, that's not. That's Gaetano. Gaetano was one of the MCs of the event. This again with Vera Sidika. This is in Uganda, where we just saw Flavia and, of course, the fashion stylist Swanky Jerry.
And he's wearing Museveni's suit.
So let's start with the look on the gentleman. Robert?
My twin brother. To be honest, he has let me down this time. The suit is not fitting at all. You'd think he was just gotten straight from a wedding committee meeting and brought to do one event. I wish the suit was fitting. Gaetano has dressed much better before. And if you look at another angle of that of this photo, his shirt is even untucked on one side. The collar on the one side is in, one is out. It just looks a bit, you see, exactly. It looks a little bit
sloppy.
Yeah, and when you're going to do an event with a lady who evidently wakes up every morning to be a showstopper, then try your best to just yeah, because I think this is Vera Sidika.
Yeah.
Okay, she looks different, but yeah, just try and do something because
different where? It's okay, it's okay.
Yeah, so Gaetano should have done. Look at the shirt; it's just not very kempt. Gaetano has done much better. I don't know what has happened to him this time. It's a fail for me.
Yeah, so he's stealing her shine. Actually, not stealing her shine, that's not the right word. He's letting her down. He's dulling her shine. Carol, what do you think?
Of Gaetano?
Yeah.
Just this, I don't know, this duo, the fact that one looks very, you know, well put together and the other just, I don't know. It's just not working.
Beauty and the Beast. It works nicely.
Well, I have to say, when I first saw this picture, my jaw dropped and I was still a little stunned. I'm glad Robert went first because I was still trying to think of what to say. I mean, I think Vera likes looking the way she does. She goes to great lengths to do that. And there is a white dress she wore, I don't know if it's this one, that had a lot of beading at the back that I thought was beautiful and perfect for a fashion award event as an MC. This other dress looks a little more plain. And her and Gaetano, I don't know if it's because of the maybe don't wanted to match, but I just, for a fashion event, I wanted something more dramatic, something with a wow factor, something that is, you know, an image that can go around the world in seconds. And this is just a little too, all right. Yeah.
Annabelle?
I mean, Lillian, these are the hosts of a regional fashion show or fashion award show. I just don't know that these two personalities were the best choice. And their clothes, I mean, clearly no designers came forward to dress either of these two characters. And this is the most epic fail. Gaetano, dude, like, just wear a well-fitted tuxedo. And Vera Siddiqa, I mean, this is as generic as it gets. And there is nothing about her right now that says that I have any authority to speak on fashion. Yeah. This is terrible.
Totally agree. Style and Fashion Awards. The MCs are supposed to exude style and fashion.
Yes.
But looks like they are showing you what is not style and what is not fashion.
Vera Siddiqa has tried too hard, I think.
What did you say?
I think Vera Siddiqa has tried too hard. She knew very well. She dressed in a manner to suggest that get the attention on other places, but not what I will speak about. Yeah.
Okay, hashtag is Fashion Watch. Let's take a look at your tweets, see what you're saying.
I'll tell you what's happening.
Okay, so as we wait on those tweets, by the way, who do you think was the best dressed 2015 or worst dressed 2015? Please help us decide, because each panelist here will have a say on why they thought who was worst dressed or best dressed. Okay, so here we go. Patience. For me, the best dressed was First Lady Margaret Kenyatta. Use the hashtag Fashion Watch, please. This is Patience. Okay, Drusilla, you guys really helped me a lot with my fashion sense and taste. Thanks a lot, Lillian, and your panel. Thank you. Annabelle, Carol Odero's hair is on point. She is the only girl in town who looks good with red hair.
Tweet that again.
Dan, that's a red carpet, not a Star Wars zone. Lupita just confused us. And Kenga says, I think showing more skin shows more confidence. That's for you, Robert.
You say that.
How interesting.
Yeah. What do you think?
More skin, more confident.
I don't agree
way.
that when you show more skin,
No
you're more confident.
Okay.
But it doesn't mean that if you show less, you're also more confident.
No, I'm not saying, yeah, but now we have a culture where people think showing more skin means you're sexy and you're more confident. Sometimes you just appear absolutely tatty.
Yeah. Like a tart?
Yes.
Okay. So, I think just be in good shape. That's all I'm going to say if you have to show skin. Okay, so, guys, your best dressed 2015. Carol, let me start with you. Who did it for you? Who was a total fail as far as you're concerned in their wardrobe?
Eek.
I'm not sure about what's dressed. Best dressed for me would be a tie between Sarah Hassan and Lupita Nyong'o. Sarah Hassan, because she knows what works for her. She has a very classic look and her go-to look that is always perfect, whether it's a red carpet event or it's something that she's doing outside of that. With Lupita, it's because she keeps pushing the envelope. This has not been a particularly grand year for her when it comes to fashion, but she has made us think and she has made us talk and she's been a conversation starter. And for me, that puts her on the best dressed list.
Yeah. Perfect.
Best dressed for me, two gentlemen. Deputy President and Ababu Namwamba.
Yes. Okay. Annabelle. Oh, you didn't tell us your worst dressed, and neither did you, by the way. Okay, let's start with the best dressed. Okay, Carol.
Right.
Annabelle, sorry.
Girl-wise, I would say Sarah Hassan. I think we've talked about her so many times in amazing sort of positive tones. And then my best dressed overall is Sauti Sol as a band. Of course, of course, they keep us guessing. They push the envelope.
Yeah.
They always bring it. They're consistent. Sauti wins the crown.
Yay. And Ian.
We featured her a lot, Sarah Hassan. So she definitely tops my list.
Okay, so the panel gives a win to Sarah Hassan, and coincidentally, she just won an award just the other day, I believe, in Dar es Salaam, but I don't think it was fashion related. I think it was, yes, it was fashion related. Carol, let's talk about your worst dress.
Sonko.
Mike Sonko.
Yes.
Worst dress 2015.
Yes.
Okay. Ian?
I don't know.
No.
I don't know.
Sorry.
You must say something.
Yeah.
Gee, pass. I'll come. Let me think.
Robert,
Let me think.
as a worst dress.
No.
Okay, let's give Ian some time. Robert,
Cut the band.
Heart the band?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought you were overruled on that. The last time we had this conversation.
I just stick to my guns.
Okay.
Yeah.
Heart the band, West Dress 2015. Annabelle.
I mean, I think it would be sort of...
No, say it, please.
Don't even explain
I'm
it.
going to take the fifth. I'm going to plead the fifth on this, just because I think that we've had such good, positive, like, fashion on this show, and I just don't feel like, you know, calling anyone out on their bad.
Okay, fair enough. Are you ready?
No,
Ian?
no, I know,
Helping
it's
out.
not really honest.
He's a nice person. Ian, anybody?
And give a
Top
reason.
of mind.
Nobody comes to mind.
Like, considering all the terribles you've said
No,
this
what
year.
they're doing, they're just playing safe.
Worst. No.
Give him a word.
It's harsh.
No, I sure he'll not agree with Heart the Band. And for me, I said Heart the Band because of when they're on stage, they're okay. But they should never take their stage outfit to outside the stage and expect to be taken seriously.
Okay.
On stage, they're okay. Talented, they are.
Right. Okay, so
What about
there you have
yours?
it. No, I don't. I'm the moderator. But you guys are my
right.
best dressed. I mean, really, you guys are. Thank you so much for watching. You know, that's a wrap for this year. You know, we hope to have an even bigger, better show next year. Thank you so much for your company. You guys, you want to say something? Good night. Bye.
Merry Christmas.
Merry
Happy
Christmas.
New
Happy New
Year.
Year. See you
Merry
in January.
Get a fashion
2016.
designer.
The biggest fun.
Bye, Kenya.
Diamond Trust Bank guys at Timol, Lawrence, they love Fashion Watch. Merry Christmas to Lawrence and your team.
Okay. Good night, guys. Thanks for watching.